Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. All right, so I'm sure you guys have felt it. Zero Hedge posting this. On the bright side, only need a 16% drop on Monday to surpass the Great Depression. Now, of course, you probably know what he's talking about. Stock markets are in free fall. Friday's numbers were, pretty horrendous. This is the DJI, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And just to give you guys a sense of, where we have fallen from the top, that is about a 15% correction for the Dow Jones. Let me just bring up a few more stock markets here. This is the S&P 500. Take a look at that, guys. Whoops. I'm just going to zoom in, and I've already plotted the price tool on there. Over 17%, over 17.5% for the SPI since the top. But Friday's numbers, huge volume, negative selling pressure. Trump's tariffs are really making a splash. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ is down probably as well. I haven't even taken a look, but now we're taking a look. From the top up here, the NASDAQ down almost 19%. So we have seen turmoil in the stock markets. Michael McDonough here saying, if my math is correct, we just had the 16th worst two-day performance in the S&P 500 in history. And so the top 25 declines, and he lists them in here. Zero Hedge saying, back to this, a 16% drop on Monday, we could surpass the Great Depression. I don't know if that's actually accurate. Let me just bring up the Dow Jones one more time here. And as you guys can see, we have already corrected 15%. But if we go back to the Great Depression, I'm just going to put this on the monthly to get there and get back there in a fairly succinct manner. Okay, so this is the Great Depression from back in here, 29 to 30, was it 32 was the crash down in there. And what did we see for the Great Depression? More along the lines of the crypto market, 89.5%. So I don't see how, or maybe dollar for dollar. I mean, if he's considering how much the market has grown to date, dollar for dollar, it could be as big as the Great Depression, but certainly not as big as the Great Depression in terms of percentage value. But Trump says markets are going to boom. Well, I mean, I guess when they've already declined so much, they need to go up at some point. When is that going to be? The boom will not be real growth, though, he says. It's engineered. They'll debase the currency, flood the system with liquidity, and inflate asset prices to create confidence.
I think it's going very well. It was an operation, like when a patient gets operated on, and it's a big thing. I said this would exactly be the way it is. We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country, and we've never seen anything like it. The markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom, and the rest of the world wants to see, is there any way they can make a deal? They've taken advantage of us for many, many years. For many years, we've been at the wrong side of the ball, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be unbelievable. The thing that people have to talk about, we're up almost to $7 trillion of investment coming into our country, and you'll see how it's going to turn out. Our country's going to boom.
So some short-term pain for some long-term gain, according to President Donald J. Trump. Okay, thanks to Vandell there, Zero Hedge, and Michael McDonough for posting those. Now, Nick Crypto Crusader giving his 2 cents. I'm pretty sure this entire stock market crash since the end of January was planned. We just witnessed a combined total of $10 trillion wiped out of the stock market. Yes, 10 trillion, guys. Just imagine how much money has gotten shaken out of these markets and how much is sidelined. Now, I want to put into perspective what we are witnessing now, what we're seeing, which is hinting at a massive rally brewing behind the scenes. All the big banks are pushing recession fears. So JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank. Retail sentiment is absolutely slaughtered with fear and greed indexes hitting single digits. Mainstream media pushes fear content headlines like Jim Cramer urging boomers to sell. The DXY, so that is the U.S. currency index, is crashing. Bullish signal for risk assets like cryptos and stocks. Almost all charts are hovering around macro support or on macro trends. We just witnessed the largest time plus price action capitulation in a very long time. Many are claiming it's similar or worse to the beer flu. What's crazy, though, is that Bitcoin is at 80,000 plus, and some altcoins like the XRP are at major highs. So that is the next part to this that I want to discuss. In my opinion, he says, in my opinion, these markets are terrified and have been for weeks. I personally see a massive rally coming over the next few weeks that will shock the majority as usual. It's time to lock in or get locked out. So An interesting observation because we haven't really moved too much on the fear and greed index. Yeah, I mean, we're still in fear, but at this point in the game, cryptocurrencies should have dumped even further. So, I mean, we're still pretty much at the status quo. We've actually increased the market cap by 1.35%, and volume has increased as well, 1.2%. Some cryptocurrencies doing fairly well. Bitcoin up over a percentage point. Ethereum, same thing. XRP, guys, is up almost 3.5%, 3.41. Solana is up over 5%, 5.3. So some of the major altcoins are actually doing fairly well. It's as if nothing is happening in broader markets. Why is that? AliChart's posting this. Capital inflows into crypto markets have surged 350% in just 2 weeks, jumping from $1.82 billion to $8.2 billion. So, despite what's happening in broader markets, this is what we are seeing, guys. We are seeing an inflow, steady inflows from the end of March coming into crypto. So that is really interesting. I mean, usually what happens is crypto markets generally, the risk on assets. So they generally move with the rest of the macro picture, generally speaking. This time it's different. And we're actually seeing this in real time. It's actually different this time. Okay, this is Bitcoin on the 1 hour. And despite the turmoil, despite the events that we have seen, yeah, I mean, we did see a liquidity event for Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin did rebound, and it's still just kind of puttering along on its own, just trading sideways at the moment. One Bitcoin currently is trading for about 83,600. So not too much movement there for Bitcoin. Certainly not declining 15% like the rest of the market. Even XRP, guys, is still holding strong, almost $2.12. Now, we were bouncing off against that level of support, $1.96. That was significant former resistance that we saw back in 2021. XRP has still just been bouncing off this level, and it's as if, it's another day in crypto, nothing happening in the macro markets. It's interesting that cryptocurrencies are reacting this way. So John Deaton also noticing the same. This is not insignificant. Watcher Guru just tweeted this out a few hours ago. $3.25 trillion wiped out from U.S. stock markets, but $5.4 billion was just added to the crypto market. A sea of red for traditional markets. But then, guys, you compare that to crypto, and look at that. XRP up at that point, 3.27. Solana was up, Dogecoin is up, Cardano, so on and so forth. So, what are we witnessing? Jeffrey Devon here saying, are we witnessing in real time the crashing of the fiat paper funny money and the ushering in of a new digital age in finance? Maybe Donald Trump is trying to beat Klaus Schwab to the punch. I see you, Klaus. I see what you're doing, but I'm going to beat you to the punch because I am the best. Maybe Donald Trump is creating a great reset of his own. Things that make you go, to see how bizarre XRP's strength is during all of this. Here is the past 6 years of RTI and XRP. This coming from the blockchain backer. Now, guys, check out these charts. Very interesting patterns. We know XRP generally does follow market cycles, and it's been very volatile. So, when Bitcoin, for example, when Bitcoin goes down by a significant amount, and I want to put significant in quotes, XRP goes down like 3 or 4x. And so this is what the blockchain backer has noticed. Generally speaking, XRP moves in lockstep and is in unison. Look at down here. Okay, here was the beer flu crash. XRP moving down significantly along with the rest of the market. Here was the 2022 crash. XRP moving down along with the market. For the first time, it has not followed, at least not yet. If it had, it would be like at 50 cents again. It's above 2021 levels, above $2 per coin. Stock markets are crashing, yet XRP is holding up. Things that make you go, Again, I got to reiterate this because this is highly unusual. Wanted to thank the blockchain backer, John Deaton, Watcher Guru, and of course, AliCharts for posting that. Now, Vincent Van Code also posting this. This is the XRPL decentralized exchange showing order books for XRP to RLUSD trading pairs. Interesting. They're very low right now. We're not seeing too much activity there. Eventually, though, this will show millions of XRP orders. So just kind of moving towards what that next step is going to be, real world adoption if all our calculations are correct. And then there's going to be a FOMO pump. There's going to be a printing. We're assuming there's going to be a large quantity of money being printed. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said that he expects Trump's tariffs to raise inflation and lower growth, but he's indicated that the central bank won't move on interest rates until it gets a clearer picture on the ultimate impacts. This one courtesy of Subjective Views. Listen to this.
We have stressed that it will be very difficult to assess the likely economic effects of higher tariffs until there is greater certainty about the details, such as what will be tariffed, at what level, and for what duration, and the extent of any retaliation from our trading partners. While uncertainty remains elevated, it is now becoming clear that tariff increases will be significantly larger than expected. And the same is likely to be true of the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. The size and duration of these effects remains uncertain. While tariffs are highly likely to generate at least a temporary rise in inflation, it's also possible that the effects could be more persistent. Avoiding that outcome would depend on keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored, on the size of the effects, and on how long it takes for them to pass through fully to prices. Our obligation is to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored and to make certain that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem. We'll continue to carefully monitor the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We're well positioned to wait for greater clarity before considering any adjustments to our policy stance. It is too soon to say what will be the appropriate path for monetary policy.
So Jerome Powell saying that the Fed is just going to sit back and wait. However, Donald Trump is saying this, guys, another one from the blockchain backer here. This would be a perfect time for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates, even though Jerome Powell just said in that clip that he's going to hold off. He is always late, but he could now change his image and quickly. Energy prices are down, interest rates are down, inflation is down, even eggs are down 69% and jobs are up, all within 2 months. A big win for America. Cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics. Donald Trump clearly has an agenda here, and ultimately what they're hoping is that this spur of activity, the cutting of interest rates, cheaper money to be borrowed, that would in fact help the economy. People would now be able to invest, and that would pump the market. So, we're kind of in limbo at the moment. All this happening, of course, as we're seeing cryptocurrency regulation come to pass as well. So, another milestone in the stablecoin story. Eleanor Turret posting this. The SEC Division of Corporate Finance has just put out guidelines on stablecoins. The agency has minted a new term. So, get this, guys. There's a new term called covered stablecoins, which describes stablecoins that maintain a stable value relative to the United States dollar on a one-for-one basis, can be redeemed for USD on a one-to-one basis, i.e. one stablecoin for $1 US, and are backed by assets held in a reserve that are considered low risk and readily liquid within a US value that meets or exceeds the redemption value of the stablecoins in circulation. So exactly what I was talking about in yesterday's video. Whoever it was, I think it was somebody in Congress, was saying, no, stablecoins will depeg at a point. And I was saying, I don't think the RLUSD will, just because of how it is being backed. If you guys didn't catch the video I did yesterday, I will link it up here. And now they're saying this is the new term, covered stablecoins. So basically, stablecoins fully regulated, fully vetted, like the RLUSD. This statement does not cover algorithmic stablecoins, and probably for good reason. They are not interested in the types of stablecoins that were associated with crypto projects like Terra Luna. So this is interesting, guys. Another step to make sure that US dollar dominance also does prevail. Now, Subjective Views noticing something interesting. This is a CIA operative. He says the BRICS will soon launch a digital currency backed by gold. So it sounds as though the race is on.
Our growth means a huge growth for the US dollar hegemony, pushing against the activity of the BRICS countries that really want to have a world that is de-dollarized.
Interesting. Explain that more, how the US dollar, it sounds like, could benefit from this.
Well, we are out there, we are building kiosks in Africa, we are building bodegas in Central South America. We have millions of touch points around the world where the US is not present. So we are in villages in Africa, we are in villages in Central South America, in Asia, and our activity there is actually educating people on how to hold a digital dollar. And if you are in these countries, in these communities, you see a huge pushback from the BRICS nations that want to push their own currencies, or soon they will launch a digital currency backed by gold. and plus they are building infrastructure in the emerging markets. And so the intent of the BRICS nations is very open. They said it multiple times. They want a dollar that is less stable, more weak. They want to de-dollarize the entire communities out there, and we are pushback against that. We are the stronghold that prevents that from happening with hundreds of millions of users. I think that Tether is the best ally for the United States in that sense, because we are doing a great service.
So a bunch of information there. I think the BRICS nations, though, are well ahead in certain ways. U.S. dollar dominance, I mean, it's inevitable. It's just becoming less dominant as the years go on. Despite U.S. efforts to prop up stablecoins now to become that new mechanism for trade, it might be that, we get these stablecoin bills and then after 10 years or so, they're kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but, nobody will be using stablecoins because the new financial system will be running on XRP. Therefore, anybody can trade any kind of currency with anybody else, and it doesn't really matter which currency you will be using. So another interesting point there, Raoul Pal posting this, guys, people are yet to understand that we have a macro hedge fund manager running the treasury, not an ex-central banker. So, if you're wondering about Trump's plans here, Raoul Pal posting this. He deeply understands liquidity impacts and how to drive financial conditions to drive liquidity and how that in turn drives the economy and markets. His entire strategy is to lower the three legs of financial conditions, dollar, rates, and oil, to goose the business cycle. Our GMI, financial conditions index, is screaming higher, conditions loosening, as is global M2, and even more importantly, GMI, global total liquidity. The effect should kick in the next week or two, and the recovery in asset prices and economic data should be sharp in the coming weeks and should be persistent. So again, keep an eye on April, guys. April is going to be a very, very interesting month. Let's take a look at XRP monthly returns on top of it all. And let's just take a look at some trends here, okay? XRP really did pump in 2017 after we did see huge gains in, when was it? It was March, April, May 2017, 297% up, 137% up, and 359% up, followed by deep declines, okay? 26% to the downside, 31%, and then we kept going up. Look at what happened in December, though, 704% to the upside. We are not actually seeing those same kinds of deep cuts in 2025, guys. Look at March and April, only down, April's just begun, but March was only down 4.5%. February was fairly big. But guys, I have a feeling we have some big returns coming our way. I think retail has their thumb on the pulse. Michael Branch posting this, retail investors choose XRP over Bitcoin. So this is what retail is deciding to do on their own. Retail investors are showing a growing preference for XRP over Bitcoin, according to recent on-chain data from Glassnode. The data highlights a dramatic 490% surge in XRP's quarterly average of daily active addresses. In comparison, Bitcoin only saw a modest 10% increase since the 2022 cycle low. This sharp contrast suggests that speculative retail demand is fueling XRP's resurgence. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's rally remains prominently institutional-led. So maybe it is now a new trend where retail investing in alternative cryptocurrencies, XRP, maybe the cryptos that aren't getting as much media attention, and by media, I mean mainstream media attention. Bitcoin is the one that has always been around. It's the one now that institutions are interested in trading or interested in holding for their clients. And maybe we will, in fact, see retail front run the market before XRP gets super high. So guys, these are the numbers. XRP activity change just over the last 6 months or so, over 490%. So according to Glassnode, Bitcoin's growth has been steady. Meanwhile, the launch of spot ETFs or the U.S. election triggered a period of significant upward movement, as we know, but it's still not as large as the XRP growth. So that is another interesting metric, the fact that retail is already noticing this. Not to mention, this is a positive headline. I have to agree, Wrath of Kahneman. They say XRP may be one of the only cryptos worth holding until 2030. So this is now coming out from media outlets like The Motley Fool. They're promoting the holding of XRP for the long term, basically something we've been crying from the rooftops since day one. It's no secret that cryptocurrencies come and go, often after experiencing 15 minutes of fame that cause many to call their ongoing dominance as part of the new paradigm of financial technology. But some coins like XRP have demonstrated staying power. There's obviously a lot of factors that go into this. XRP has a few things going for it that most other cryptocurrencies don't, starting with its rapid speed and low transaction fees. Perhaps the most important factor driving its long-term viability is that by design, it aims to cater to financial institutions. institutions. So basically all the things that we have been talking about. Financial institutions are a good class of customers, of course. XRP's chain, they can gain a few advantages and they can't elsewhere, like saving on the international money transfer fee. So basically giving all the real world utility reasons why people should be holding XRP. They talk about tokenizing real world assets, RWAs. So, the fact is now we are seeing some of these media outlets, financial media outlets specifically, saying XRP is a better long-term hold than probably 99% of cryptocurrencies out there. Brad Garlinghouse has been saying this for years now. We've all been saying this for years. So it's not so much that they're saying it and the reasons why they're saying it. It's just the fact that now in 2025, guys, we are seeing them say this exact thing that we've known from the start. The fact that, the crypto market as a whole, but XRP particularly is holding up, still holding up against former resistance, trading right now at just about $2.12. I personally think it's still a great time to buy. That's just my opinion. And if you guys are interested in the particular coins that I'm holding, I'm keeping my portfolio completely transparent this bull run. I'm letting my Patreon subscribers see where I'm trading, what I'm going to be holding, and I'm going to be letting them know in real time. We're all in this together. We're in this to make money. This is a great opportunity, considering I think we've got a leg up to traditional investors. Patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for more details on that. And please subscribe to this channel if you have not already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.